I've mentioned in the past that I've been cross with Enter ever since the Trolls video and felt that his reviews have been declining in quality, but I figured I'd explain what I mean by that. Now, for those who don't know who MrEnter is, MrEnter is an animation critic. He pretty much looks at cartoons, whether it be for adults, kids, or even stuff on the internet. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, and at the time, he seemed to be doing a great job at it. But over time, his reviews have gotten less entertaining and a lot more nitpicky, and simply put, he's kind of becoming a soccer mom. He tends to get upset at some of the littlest things, like if there's even just a hint of cruelty or mean-spiritedness. It doesn't matter if it's nowhere as over the top as stuff like this Squidward torture porns. If there's a bit of cruelty, he'll bitch about it. An example of this would be his Sorry Wrong Ed review, where he was complaining about how Double D wasn't too concerned with Eddie being injured, despite the fact that stuff like that happens on the show all the time, or the type of injuries Eddie's receive, which again happens all the time on the show. But that was before the Trolls video. For those who don't know about the Trolls incident, pretty much Enter was saying how cyberbullies and trolls were the same thing because cyberbullies use trolling as an excuse, and he even said that he blocked the people who said that there was a difference. Unsurprisingly, a lot of people unsubscribed after that. But unlike those people, I actually tried to continue watching him and saw it as more of a dethroning moment. But then I noticed that his arguments are becoming more flimsy. What do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look.
In it, I said that you should keep morals far, far away from your jokes, because if you haven't guessed by now, this has been a satire, and I'm judging it as such. I'm fairly sure that they're attempting to satirize this plotline, but here's the thing, there's no sign that it's being tongue-in-cheek about this. At no point is it saying here, this is what we're trying to do, don't take anything we do seriously. These writers worked on Mad, and this kind of stuff could work there because there's that kind of acknowledgement built in.
But Teen Titans Go is a comedy show, so doesn't that already kind of imply that a lot of the morals aren't going to be very serious? I mean, granted, you can tell some serious morals, like what they do in South Park, but Teen Titans Go is for kids, and typically speaking, a lot of children's programming don't tell a lot of morals. Even then, why do they have to let people know that they're being satirical with morals? I'm pretty sure common sense would tell them when they're being satirical or not.
It's a sketch show. They can tell jokes that are totally detached from any kind of story. In an episodic show like this one, you can't get away with doing that.
Mind explaining how, good sir?
My analysis is correct. Shut up.
If you could tell from my previous reviews, I'm not a fan of satirized morals to begin with.
If that's the case, then you're taking things way too seriously.
Let's start with the theme song.
My name is Angela. Hey, hello. Welcome to my very own show.
It's sung by a character who can't sing and doesn't flow very well at all. Angela says that she'll introduce her friends, but she doesn't.
Seriously, you're nitpicking the fucking intro? Are you really this desperate to find flaws?
Now to today's story, starring me and not starring Nanette Manoir.
Do you not know what words mean? She's the antagonist of the episode. So yes, it stars her as much as it stars you. There are scenes with her without you.
Specific. Everything must be specific because I'm MrEnter. And if it's not specific, I'll bitch about it not being specific. Yes, I'm using Hyrule Bard's joke again. At least I'm being honest about it.
Where you think Brinks is? How should I know, Johnny Abadi, my dim best friend?
Wow, no really. You couldn't make exposition more obvious and more stupid. Oh yeah, Angela Anaconda has fantasies kinda like Doug, except she's a sociopath. So this show's resident alpha bitch tends to die a lot.
Really? Cause I remember Nanette just getting injured and exaggerated in cartoony ways. You know, I'm starting to see why people label you as a soccer mom.
Also, how did Johnny Abadi, Angela's dim-witted best friend, get only a cupcake for lunch? What cafeteria gives those out and nothing else?
Cause this totally affects the show, right? I mean, really, at least make some sort of joke.
And the substitute doesn't like the sandwich. Also, she's a dick to Nanette because the world can be an ass to her if the main character says that she's mean.
No, it's because Nanette's exposing herself as a kiss-up. Honestly, it seems like you're trying to make the show seem worse than it actually is. But hey, who am I to question the almighty logic of MrEnter?
And Johnny Abadi, Angela's dim-witted best friend,
We get it! It was a badly done line. You don't need to keep hammering this joke in.
my opinion is grossly biased, I understand this. I cannot watch Shrek without blaming it for Chicken Little, Ren and Stimpy for Mega Babies, South Park for Adult Party Cartoon, or Brickleberry.
So let me get this straight. Because of all the bad rip-offs of these films, you can't enjoy the originals. You can't enjoy Shrek because of films like Chicken Little. You can't enjoy stuff like Ren and Stimpy simply because of Mega Babies. That makes no sense. Like, this is actually rather common with anything that's popular. No company can actually predict that other people will copy them.
I can't give praise to Shrek without giving praise to its ripoffs.
Yes, you can. You can actually explain why it works in Shrek and not in any of the films that tries to copy its humor.
While I really like the body swap trope, I do not like the voices are mental trope at all. What is essentially done is, let's use Gravity Falls for an example. Even though Dipper is in Mabel's body, he still has Dipper's voice. While it might on the surface seem as an improvement in terms of comedy, after all, how funny would it be if a guy's voice came out of a girl? It's sacrificing long term for short term, even in the terms of comedy. There is much more potential for jokes when it's absolutely impossible for someone to prove that they are not who they appear to be.
Correction. That's how you and your fan base feel. Not everyone has the same mentality as you. You have to realize that.
And if this change is just for the audience, once again, that's cheating. When you do this, your episode is harmed as a result, and the body swap concept is not used to its fullest potential.
Hey Enter, has it ever occurred that maybe this is actually more so on how they want to tell the body swap story and not how you want it to be told? I mean, typically, when they do switch the voices, the episode is meant to be more comedic. And don't give me the whole, well, it's more funny when you can't tell who's who. Where's your proof on this? No, seriously, where's your proof?
I do know that there's a reason for this voice thing that is virtually only present in animation. Some live action shows may do it for a quick gag, but they will eventually drop the voices are mental trope. This is not because people think the kids wouldn't know who is who during the body swap. It's because this is the easy way out. It's easy to switch around voices in animation. What's hard to do is match someone else's speaking style. Try talking in someone else's accent like a native speaker and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's tough, I get it. But sometimes you gotta do hard work to pull things off. Go the extra mile.
You heard it right here, voice actors. If you plan on doing a body swap episode, then you actually need to learn how to do that other person's speaking pattern, because MrEnter said so, and it makes it more enjoyable for him. Good fucking god, how pretentious can you be? And would you believe that this goes on for about 3 minutes? He's spending 3 minutes of a 10-minute video whining about something that he claims destroyed the entire story, when in reality, it doesn't! To all of the people who's watching this video right now, how many of you actually care about this little trope as much as Enter? How many of you actually feel that it actually ruins the episode when they swap the voices? Please, answer me that.
Here's how the shows of this era did a skipping school moral. The characters that skip school have an unusually horrible day, and the kids that stay in school have an unusually good day. And it usually involves a carnival at school. Yeah, Hey Arnold did this the exact same way. So when one fails, they all fail. I get what they're going for, I really do. They're trying to say, you never know what you'll miss if you skip school, but it's not believable in any way, shape, or form. Kids are going to know that none of this stuff is likely to happen, and the lesson will be lost on them completely. Don't sacrifice believability on the altar of a moral, because that never works out.
Enter. The main purpose of these shows is for entertainment. Entertainment. If they try making it realistic, it becomes a bit boring. You need to remember that these shows are specifically targeted towards kids. I mean, yes, you can make it enjoyable for both adults and kids, but you still need to keep the kids in mind. And one of those ways to make the show entertaining is to possibly exaggerate a certain moral. Seriously, why does everything have to be realistic for you? Cartoons are meant to escape reality, not to continue living it. I could go on like saying how the YouTube copyright video just seemed to be him projecting his anger about being terminated briefly, onto the video, or how annoying his anger was in his Elf Bowling review, but I think just saying that is enough. Instead, I'd like to talk about his attitude, particularly towards its critics and haters. Simply put, it's terrible. He tends to have a "I'm better than you are" mentality towards these people, and complains about them constantly. No, I'm serious. He mentions it in practically every video.
Speaking of that, people wonder why I'm so serious critiquing kids shows. Well, here's one reason. I don't think our kids should be watching characters try to murder each other. And let's do so without getting myself into hot water. Then again, people tend to get pissed at me no matter what I do, so I guess YOLO. We're talking about trolls today, and we're not even talking about mine. This isn't about me. And you know what? Don't even try the "it's for kids" excuse here. I was a kid when this show was airing, and that doesn't change my opinion in the slightest. No matter who you are looking back on the show, you're probably going to think that it's totally 90s.
Hell, he's even made journal posts responding to trolls, aka giving them unneeded attention. And you wonder why you get trolled and made fun of in the first place.
Cyber bullies, damn you!
Ow! Ugh, I'm gonna feel that in the morning. Now, where was I? Oh yeah. As I mentioned earlier, Enter is also very stingy around criticism around his project Growing Around, which is pretty much his retooling of a Shorty McShort called Flip Flopped. One of the most infamous examples happens to be the situation with Alex Mann, who actually took someone else's post from Kiwi Farms forum, and effectively this person was giving their own critique on Enter's concept of growing around, and saying how it needs to be retooled. And as you can see, it's actually very constructive and very polite, so there shouldn't be any problem, right? Apparently, Enter disagrees on that. 1. Being in college does not mean that you're in the industry or know about the industry. Being in the industry means that you're in the industry, and college is filled with out-of-date techniques. By saying you're in college is claiming to credentials that don't mean anything yet, and damage any of your claims in my eyes. What do you mean the techniques they use is out-of-date? Do you have any evidence of this? From what I've seen, college does their best to stay up to date with the times. Maybe it's the college that you go to, provided if you even are going to college. And college means that you're not in the industry, but it does give you a good understanding, just like what this person said earlier. 2. We've done this frequently. We have taken plenty of breaks. Okay, that was pointless. We only have 2 types of feedback in the following as large as mine: an echo chamber or trolls who hate everything I do. The middle is a minimal group, and they too often resemble either of the other 2 categories. Hey Enter, has it ever occurred that maybe the reason why you get so many people that don't like your content is because they honestly have problems and it really does not help that you're taking in the criticism, especially when it's on this project? Let's see. No, it is not okay to scrap months of work. That is never okay. There is almost no situation where you can't get more out of something from finishing it than scrapping it and starting over. Have you even tried Enter? So far, your current script, to be honest, really isn't that good. I actually read the original script when he first posted it, and I honestly have to say it was kind of bland. Let's see, skipping 6. 7. It's very stale. This is hard to know because you haven't substantiated your claims. How much into this have you gotten? Have you read more than one script, or have you just looked at the storyboards? I find it funny how you constantly complain about this person apparently assuming things, yet you're just assuming this person only looked at one script. Can anyone say hypocrite? Number 8. You don't know how this world works. Says who? We know pretty much all we need to know. Either you haven't looked deeply enough into what we're doing and you're making assumptions based on... Again, there's that hypocrisy. And plus, from what I've heard, you're constantly changing how this world came to be. When you can't keep it consistent, then that becomes a major problem, and it clearly shows that you're kind of making things up as you go along. So far, it really does not work so far. The fact that this all happened with some sort of war or whatever, it doesn't even make sense. Number 9. You're more interested in the way the world came to be, and I'm sure about a cartoon about SpongeBob's life that led to him to Bikini Bottom would be more interesting than the cartoon we have now. That's not the point this person was trying to make. The person was basically saying that your current concept is flawed and is more interested in a cartoon about how the world came to be is more interesting than your current concept. Pay attention. Let's see, number 10 is just him spitting in the face of this person. Classy. Or maybe you're just trolling with critiques like this that say scrap everything or don't even bother. It's fucking hard to tell. So because this person gave polite yet rather harsh critique on your project, you're outright gonna claim that this person is a troll? It's official! You don't even know what the hell the term troll means. Saying that the entire concept should be scrapped because they can't see this current one working at all and explaining why it doesn't work is not fucking trolling. Oh, but it gets even better. He actually has rules for his DeviantArt page. Rule 1. Do not mention blocked people in my comment section. There have been a rash of people who are blocked by me going around and begging people who frequent my pages to get unblocked. When these people do get unblocked, they tend to keep doing the exact same thing that got them blocked in the first place. Don't even mention them, because they have a habit of going into other websites and just spewing bile. Never mind the fact that maybe this person who got blocked actually had a legitimate problem with your attitude. Such as this! Skipping Rule 2. Do not post external links, anything other than the website you are currently on. There's no point to it. Any discussion that any person wants to have with me can be done here. I don't see what the problem with an external link is. Skipping a bit more. No obvious spam. Constantly copy-pasting the same comment. Obviously intentional misspelling, etc. Wow, if you're getting that upset over just a few spam comments, you really need to see someone. Do not ask for my Skype. I only give it to very specific people. 99.99% of the people are not one of those specific people. It's essentially my business line. Well, Azu, looks like you're not getting any advice from MrEnter. Rule 9. I don't watch response videos, for many reasons. Most importantly, I just don't have the time. Yeah, I call bullshit on that. It would take you a lot less time to just leave a comment, and it's a lot more likely that I'll respond. But when most people make response videos, they tend to fall into the same traps. They either use the straw man fallacy, where they're arguing with something that I never meant or ever said.
That's just a straw man fallacy.
Or they're using the no true Scotsman fallacy. Wow, you really are turning into Orion. Example, no true troll will do such a thing. They basically ignore the argument in favor of semantics. But 95% of them basically ignore everything I've said in my videos to simply state their opinion. Oh really, Enter? How the hell are we ignoring your arguments when we're outright looking at them in your videos and actually somewhat restating them? I mean, in this video, you can clearly see that I'm listening into your arguments and pointing out my reasons why I feel they're invalid. Overall, Enter's become a rather poor critic, and I honestly just can't take him seriously anymore. With his terrible attitude and faulty arguments, I don't see myself becoming a fan again. And I know there's people watching this who will still like MrEnter regardless of what I said, and you know what? Hey, that's fine. That's your right. But as for me, I honestly can't take it anymore, and I honestly feel that there are far more reviewers out there, such as Nostalgia Critic, Bob Show, Hardcore Kid, Cartoon Hero, Pie Guy Rules, and many others. Sure, they can be hit and miss at times, but I find them a lot better since their arguments seem to be more credible, and they have a better understanding of what they're looking at, and don't take things so seriously. They know how to take a fucking joke. Not to mention that they are more respectful for their fan base if they disagree with them. Anyway, that is my video. I'll see you guys later.